Had you eaten breakfast before you left for school?
I had eaten cereal and fruit.
Had you eaten breakfast before you left for school?
I hadn't eaten because I was late.
Had she brushed her teeth before going to bed?
She had brushed them with mint toothpaste.
Had she brushed her teeth before going to bed?
She hadn't brushed due to being tired.
Had he finished his homework before watching TV?
He had completed all his math problems.
Had he finished his homework before watching TV?
He hadn't done it because he forgot.
Had they cleaned the house before the guests arrived?
They had vacuumed and dusted everything.
Had they cleaned the house before the guests arrived?
They hadn't cleaned due to lack of time.
Had you taken a shower before leaving home?
I had taken a quick, warm shower.
Had you taken a shower before leaving home?
I hadn't showered because I overslept.
Had she called her mom before going to work?
She had called to chat about dinner.
Had she called her mom before going to work?
She hadn't called due to a busy morning.
Had he packed his bag before leaving for school?
He had packed books and a pencil case.
Had he packed his bag before leaving for school?
He hadn't packed because he was rushed.
Had you locked the door before going to the park?
I had locked it with my key.
Had you locked the door before going to the park?
I hadn't locked it due to distraction.
Had they fed the dog before going out?
They had given the dog fresh food.
Had they fed the dog before going out?
They hadn't fed it because they forgot.
Had she made her bed before leaving the room?
She had made it with neat pillows.
Had she made her bed before leaving the room?
She hadn't made it due to being late.
Had you studied English before the test started?
I had reviewed verbs and vocabulary.
Had you studied English before the test started?
I hadn't studied because I was sick.
Had he written his essay before the class ended?
He had typed a 3-page essay.
Had he written his essay before the class ended?
He hadn't written it due to confusion.
Had she read the book before the discussion?
She had finished the entire novel.
Had she read the book before the discussion?
She hadn't read it because of homework.
Had they practiced math before the quiz?
They had solved 10 practice problems.
Had they practiced math before the quiz?
They hadn't practiced due to a party.
Had you checked your answers before submitting the test?
I had reviewed every question twice.
Had you checked your answers before submitting the test?
I hadn't checked due to time running out.
Had he prepared his presentation before the meeting?
He had made slides with pictures.
Had he prepared his presentation before the meeting?
He hadn't prepared because he was busy.
Had she learned the vocabulary before the lesson?
She had memorized 20 new words.
Had she learned the vocabulary before the lesson?
She hadn't learned them due to fatigue.
Had you taken notes before the teacher explained?
I had written key points in my notebook.
Had you taken notes before the teacher explained?
I hadn't taken notes because I was late.
Had they finished their project before the deadline?
They had completed a colorful poster.
Had they finished their project before the deadline?
They hadn't finished due to disagreements.
Had he reviewed his notes before the exam?
He had studied all his flashcards.
Had he reviewed his notes before the exam?
He hadn't reviewed because he was nervous.
Had you packed your suitcase before the trip started?
I had packed clothes and a camera.
Had you packed your suitcase before the trip started?
I hadn't packed due to last-minute work.
Had she booked the hotel before she arrived?
She had reserved a room online.
Had she booked the hotel before she arrived?
She hadn't booked because she forgot.
Had he checked the map before he started driving?
He had studied the route carefully.
Had he checked the map before he started driving?
He hadn't checked due to overconfidence.
Had they bought tickets before they went to the airport?
They had purchased tickets weeks ago.
Had they bought tickets before they went to the airport?
They hadn't bought them due to indecision.
Had you charged your phone before you left home?
I had charged it to 100%.
Had you charged your phone before you left home?
I hadn't charged it because I was rushed.
Had she taken photos before the tour ended?
She had snapped pictures of the sunset.
Had she taken photos before the tour ended?
She hadn't taken any due to a dead battery.
Had he visited the museum before he left the city?
He had explored the art gallery.
Had he visited the museum before he left the city?
He hadn't visited due to a tight schedule.
Had you planned the trip before you traveled?
I had made a detailed itinerary.
Had you planned the trip before you traveled?
I hadn't planned because I was spontaneous.
Had they eaten lunch before they went sightseeing?
They had enjoyed sandwiches and juice.
Had they eaten lunch before they went sightseeing?
They hadn't eaten due to excitement.
Had she packed snacks before the road trip?
She had packed chips and cookies.
Had she packed snacks before the road trip?
She hadn't packed any due to forgetfulness.
Had you bought ingredients before you cooked dinner?
I had bought fresh vegetables and meat.
Had you bought ingredients before you cooked dinner?
I hadn't bought anything due to no time.
Had she chopped vegetables before she started cooking?
She had sliced carrots and onions.
Had she chopped vegetables before she started cooking?
She hadn't chopped due to a broken knife.
Had he boiled water before he made pasta?
He had boiled water in a pot.
Had he boiled water before he made pasta?
He hadn't boiled it because he was distracted.
Had they set the table before the meal?
They had placed plates and forks neatly.
Had they set the table before the meal?
They hadn't set it due to a rush.
Had you washed the dishes before you ate?
I had cleaned all the plates.
Had you washed the dishes before you ate?
I hadn't washed them because I was hungry.
Had she baked a cake before the party?
She had baked a chocolate cake.
Had she baked a cake before the party?
She hadn't baked due to no ingredients.
Had he tasted the food before he served it?
He had tried the soup first.
Had he tasted the food before he served it?
He hadn't tasted it due to being busy.
Had you checked the recipe before you started?
I had read the recipe twice.
Had you checked the recipe before you started?
I hadn't checked it because I was confident.
Had they cleaned the kitchen before cooking?
They had wiped the counters clean.
Had they cleaned the kitchen before cooking?
They hadn't cleaned due to laziness.
Had she made coffee before breakfast?
She had brewed a strong coffee.
Had she made coffee before breakfast?
She hadn't made it due to no coffee beans.
Had you finished the report before the meeting?
I had typed the final report.
Had you finished the report before the meeting?
I hadn't finished due to a computer crash.
Had she sent the email before the deadline?
She had sent it to her boss.
Had she sent the email before the deadline?
She hadn't sent it because of no internet.
Had he prepared the documents before the presentation?
He had organized all the papers.
Had he prepared the documents before the presentation?
He hadn't prepared due to a late night.
Had they discussed the plan before the boss arrived?
They had talked about the project.
Had they discussed the plan before the boss arrived?
They hadn't discussed it due to conflicts.
Had you checked your schedule before the day started?
I had reviewed my calendar.
Had you checked your schedule before the day started?
I hadn't checked due to a busy morning.
Had she organized her desk before work?
She had sorted pens and papers.
Had she organized her desk before work?
She hadn't organized it because of stress.
Had he called the client before lunch?
He had spoken to the client.
Had he called the client before lunch?
He hadn't called due to a meeting.
Had you printed the papers before the meeting?
I had printed 10 copies.
Had you printed the papers before the meeting?
I hadn't printed due to a broken printer.
Had they fixed the computer before the work started?
They had repaired the system.
Had they fixed the computer before the work started?
They hadn't fixed it due to no tools.
Had she planned the day before she started working?
She had written a to-do list.
Had she planned the day before she started working?
She hadn't planned because she was tired.
Had you played soccer before it started raining?
I had played with my friends.
Had you played soccer before it started raining?
I hadn't played due to a sore foot.
Had she painted a picture before the art class?
She had painted a colorful flower.
Had she painted a picture before the art class?
She hadn't painted because of no paint.
Had he watched a movie before dinner?
He had watched a comedy film.
Had he watched a movie before dinner?
He hadn't watched due to no time.
Had she practiced the guitar before the lesson?
She had played 3 songs.
Had she practiced the guitar before the lesson?
She hadn't practiced due to a broken string.
Had he taken photos before the event ended?
He had snapped group pictures.
Had he taken photos before the event ended?
He hadn't taken any due to no camera.
Had you listened to music before you studied?
I had played my favorite songs.
Had you listened to music before you studied?
I hadn't listened due to a quiet mood.
Had they played video games before bedtime?
They had played a racing game.
Had they played video games before bedtime?
They hadn't played due to homework.
Had she drawn a picture before the art show?
She had drawn a sunset scene.
Had she drawn a picture before the art show?
She hadn't drawn because of no paper.
Had you made a list before you went shopping?
I had written a grocery list.
Had you made a list before you went shopping?
I hadn't made one due to a hurry.
Had she checked the price before she bought the dress?
She had compared prices online.
Had she checked the price before she bought the dress?
She hadn't checked due to excitement.
Had he returned the book before the library closed?
He had dropped it off early.
Had he returned the book before the library closed?
He hadn't returned it due to forgetfulness.
Had they paid the bill before the due date?
They had paid it online.
Had they paid the bill before the due date?
They hadn't paid due to no money.
Had you visited the bank before it closed?
I had withdrawn some cash.
Had you visited the bank before it closed?
I hadn't visited due to work.
Had she bought a gift before the birthday party?
She had chosen a nice necklace.
Had she bought a gift before the birthday party?
She hadn't bought one due to indecision.
Had he checked the car before the trip?
He had inspected the tires.
Had he checked the car before the trip?
He hadn't checked due to a rush.
Had you mailed the letter before the post office closed?
I had sent it with a stamp.
Had you mailed the letter before the post office closed?
I hadn't mailed it due to no time.
Had they picked up the package before the store closed?
They had collected it early.
Had they picked up the package before the store closed?
They hadn't picked it up due to traffic.
Had she returned the shoes before the return date?
She had sent them back.
Had she returned the shoes before the return date?
She hadn't returned them due to laziness.
Had you updated your phone before it crashed?
I had installed the latest update.
Had you updated your phone before it crashed?
I hadn't updated it due to no Wi-Fi.
Had she saved her work before the computer shut down?
She had saved it to a file.
Had she saved her work before the computer shut down?
She hadn't saved due to a power cut.
Had he charged his laptop before the meeting?
He had plugged it in overnight.
Had he charged his laptop before the meeting?
He hadn't charged it due to forgetfulness.
Had they backed up their photos before the phone broke?
They had saved them to the cloud.
Had they backed up their photos before the phone broke?
They hadn't backed up due to no space.
Had you checked your email before the class started?
I had read all new messages.
Had you checked your email before the class started?
I hadn't checked due to no internet.
Had she downloaded the app before the trip?
She had installed a map app.
Had she downloaded the app before the trip?
She hadn't downloaded it due to no time.
Had he turned off the TV before he left?
He had switched it off.
Had he turned off the TV before he left?
He hadn't turned it off due to a rush.
Had you tested the camera before the event?
I had checked the lens and battery.
Had you tested the camera before the event?
I hadn't tested it due to excitement.
Had they updated the software before the project started?
They had installed the new version.
Had they updated the software before the project started?
They hadn't updated due to a slow connection.
Had she printed the tickets before the concert?
She had printed them at home.
Had she printed the tickets before the concert?
She hadn't printed due to no printer.
Had you called your friend before the party?
I had talked to her about plans.
Had you called your friend before the party?
I hadn't called due to a busy day.
Had she visited her grandma before the holiday?
She had spent the day with her.
Had she visited her grandma before the holiday?
She hadn't visited due to travel issues.
Had he helped his brother before the game?
He had fixed his brother's bike.
Had he helped his brother before the game?
He hadn't helped due to no time.
Had they planned the family dinner before the weekend?
They had chosen a menu together.
Had they planned the family dinner before the weekend?
They hadn't planned due to work.
Had you texted your cousin before the meeting?
I had sent a funny message.
Did you texted your cousin before the meeting?
I hadn't texted due to a dead phone.
Had she bought a gift for her dad before his birthday?
She had picked a nice watch.
Had she bought a gift for her dad before his birthday?
She hadn't bought one due to no money.
Had he invited his friends before the event?
He had sent party invitations.
Had he invited his friends before the event?
He hadn't invited them due to shyness.
Had you met your neighbor before the barbecue?
I had chatted with them earlier.
Had you met your neighbor before the barbecue?
I hadn't met them due to being away.
Had they called their parents before the trip?
They had talked about travel plans.
Had they called their parents before the trip?
They hadn't called due to a bad signal.
Had she helped her sister before the exam?
She had explained math problems.
Had she helped her sister before the exam?
She hadn't helped due to her own work.
Had you drunk water before the workout?
I had sipped a full bottle.
Had you drunk water before the workout?
I hadn't drunk any due to a rush.
Had she stretched before she ran?
She had warmed up her legs.
Had she stretched before she ran?
She hadn't stretched due to no time.
Had he slept enough before the big game?
He had rested for 8 hours.
Had he slept enough before the big game?
He hadn't slept due to excitement.
Had they eaten healthy food before the hike?
They had eaten fruit and oatmeal.
Had they eaten healthy food before the hike?
They hadn't eaten due to no appetite.
Had you brushed your hair before the doctor's visit?
I had combed it neatly.
Had you brushed your hair before the doctor's visit?
I hadn't brushed due to being late.
Had she taken her medicine before breakfast?
She had swallowed her pills.
Had she taken her medicine before breakfast?
She hadn't taken them due to forgetfulness.
Had he checked his temperature before school?
He had used a thermometer.
Had he checked his temperature before school?
He hadn't checked due to no fever.
Had you exercised before the weekend?
I had gone for a jog.
Had you exercised before the weekend?
I hadn't exercised due to rain.
Had they visited the dentist before the pain started?
They had gotten a checkup.
Had they visited the dentist before the pain started?
They hadn't visited due to fear.
Had she rested before the dance class?
She had taken a short nap.
Had she rested before the dance class?
She hadn't rested due to chores.
Had you decorated the house before the party?
I had hung balloons and lights.
Had you decorated the house before the party?
I hadn't decorated due to no supplies.
Had she practiced her speech before the wedding?
She had rehearsed it twice.
Had she practiced her speech before the wedding?
She hadn't practiced due to nerves.
Had he bought flowers before the event?
He had picked red roses.
Had he bought flowers before the event?
He hadn't bought any due to no money.
Had they sent invitations before the celebration?
They had mailed colorful cards.
Had they sent invitations before the celebration?
They hadn't sent them due to a delay.
Had you wrapped the gift before the birthday?
I had used shiny paper.
Had you wrapped the gift before the birthday?
I hadn't wrapped it due to no tape.
Had she chosen a dress before the dance?
She had picked a blue gown.
Had she chosen a dress before the dance?
She hadn't chosen one due to indecision.
Had he booked the venue before the party?
He had reserved a big hall.
Had he booked the venue before the party?
He hadn't booked due to high costs.
Had you learned the song before the concert?
I had memorized the lyrics.
Had you learned the song before the concert?
I hadn't learned it due to no time.
Had they cooked food before the festival?
They had made tasty desserts.
Had they cooked food before the festival?
They hadn't cooked due to a busy day.
Had she taken photos before the ceremony?
She had captured group shots.
Had she taken photos before the ceremony?
She hadn't taken any due to no camera.
Had you organized your closet before the weekend?
I had folded all my clothes.
Had you organized your closet before the weekend?
I hadn't organized due to laziness.
Had she dusted the shelves before the guests came?
She had wiped them clean.
Had she dusted the shelves before the guests came?
She hadn't dusted due to no cloth.
Had he vacuumed the carpet before the party?
He had cleaned every corner.
Had he vacuumed the carpet before the party?
He hadn't vacuumed due to a broken machine.
Had they sorted the laundry before washing?
They had separated whites and colors.
Had they sorted the laundry before washing?
They hadn't sorted due to a rush.
Had you cleaned the windows before the holiday?
I had polished them shiny.
Had you cleaned the windows before the holiday?
I hadn't cleaned due to rain.
Had she tidied her room before her friend arrived?
She had arranged her books.
Had she tidied her room before her friend arrived?
She hadn't tidied due to homework.
Had he washed the car before the trip?
He had scrubbed it clean.
Had he washed the car before the trip?
He hadn't washed it due to no water.
Had you thrown out the trash before dinner?
I had taken the bin out.
Had you thrown out the trash before dinner?
I hadn't thrown it due to forgetfulness.
Had they cleaned the bathroom before the visit?
They had scrubbed the tiles.
Had they cleaned the bathroom before the visit?
They hadn't cleaned due to no cleaner.
Had she organized her bag before school?
She had packed her pencils.
Had she organized her bag before school?
She hadn't organized due to a late night.
Had you practiced speaking before the interview?
I had rehearsed my answers.
Had you practiced speaking before the interview?
I hadn't practiced due to nerves.
Had she learned to cook before the dinner?
She had mastered a recipe.
Had she learned to cook before the dinner?
She hadn't learned due to no kitchen.
Had he studied coding before the project?
He had written simple programs.
Had he studied coding before the project?
He hadn't studied due to no computer.
Had they practiced dancing before the show?
They had learned a routine.
Had they practiced dancing before the show?
They hadn't practiced due to no time.
Had you watched tutorials before the task?
I had viewed 3 videos.
Had you watched tutorials before the task?
I hadn't watched due to no internet.
Had she tried painting before the class?
She had painted a small canvas.
Had she tried painting before the class?
She hadn't tried due to no brushes.
Had he learned the rules before the game?
He had read the guidebook.
Had he learned the rules before the game?
He hadn't learned due to confusion.
Had you practiced writing before the exam?
I had written 2 essays.
Had you practiced writing before the exam?
I hadn't practiced due to a busy week.
Had they studied history before the quiz?
They had read about wars.
Had they studied history before the quiz?
They hadn't studied due to a party.
Had she learned to swim before the trip?
She had taken swim lessons.
Had she learned to swim before the trip?
She hadn't learned due to fear of water.
Had you walked the dog before it rained?
I had taken him to the park.
Had you walked the dog before it rained?
I hadn't walked him due to work.
Had she fed the cat before she left?
She had filled the bowl.
Had she fed the cat before she left?
She hadn't fed it due to no food.
Had he cleaned the fish tank before the weekend?
He had changed the water.
Had he cleaned the fish tank before the weekend?
He hadn't cleaned it due to no filter.
Had they brushed their dog before the vet visit?
They had groomed his fur.
Had they brushed their dog before the vet visit?
They hadn't brushed due to no brush.
Had you played with the puppy before dinner?
I had thrown his ball.
Had you played with the puppy before dinner?
I hadn't played due to tiredness.
Had she bought toys for the hamster before the holiday?
She had gotten a new wheel.
Had she bought toys for the hamster before the holiday?
She hadn't bought any due to no money.
Had he checked the bird cage before bedtime?
He had refilled the seeds.
Had he checked the bird cage before bedtime?
He hadn't checked due to a late night.
Had you trained the dog before the guests came?
I had taught him to sit.
Had you trained the dog before the guests came?
I hadn't trained due to no treats.
Had they taken the rabbit to the vet before the trip?
They had gotten a checkup.
Had they taken the rabbit to the vet before the trip?
They hadn't taken it due to no car.
Had she cleaned the litter box before the party?
She had scooped it out.
Had she cleaned the litter box before the party?
She hadn't cleaned due to no scoop.
Had you checked the weather before you went out?
I had seen the sunny forecast.
Had you checked the weather before you went out?
I had checked due to a rush.
Had she brought an umbrella before it rained?
She had packed a small one.
Had she brought an umbrella before it rained?
She hadn't brought one due to optimism.
Had he worn a jacket before it got cold?
He had worn a warm coat.
Had he worn a jacket before it got cold?
He hadn't worn one due to no jacket.
Had they canceled the picnic before the storm?
They had called it off early.
Had they canceled the picnic before the storm?
They hadn't canceled due to hope.
Had you closed the windows before the rain started?
I had shut them tightly.
Had you closed the windows before the rain started?
I hadn't closed them due to distraction.
Had she watered the plants before the heat wave?
She had given them water.
Had she watered the plants before the heat wave?
She hadn't watered due to no can.
Had he mowed the lawn before the party?
He had cut the grass neatly.
Had he mowed the lawn before the party?
He hadn't mowed due to a broken mower.
Had you packed sunscreen before the beach trip?
I had brought SPF 50.
Had you packed sunscreen before the beach trip?
I hadn't packed any due to forgetfulness.
Had they checked the tent before camping?
They had tested the poles.
Had they checked the tent before camping?
They hadn't checked due to excitement.
Had she worn boots before the snow fell?
She had put on warm boots.
Had she worn boots before the snow fell?
She hadn't worn them due to no snow yet.
Had you saved money before you bought the phone?
I had saved for 3 months.
Had you saved money before you bought the phone?
I hadn't saved due to expenses.
Had she paid the rent before the due date?
She had sent the payment early.
Had she paid the rent before the due date?
She hadn't paid due to no funds.
Had he checked the price before he bought the car?
He had compared deals online.
Had he checked the price before he bought the car?
He hadn't checked due to excitement.
Had they budgeted for the trip before they left?
They had planned their spending.
Had they budgeted for the trip before they left?
They hadn't budgeted due to spontaneity.
Had you withdrawn cash before the market?
I had taken out $50.
Had you withdrawn cash before the market?
I hadn't withdrawn due to no ATM.
Had she returned the loan before the deadline?
She had paid it back fully.
Had she returned the loan before the deadline?
She hadn't returned it due to no money.
Had he bought the ticket before the price went up?
He had booked it cheaply.
Had he bought the ticket before the price went up?
He hadn't bought due to indecision.
Had you checked your wallet before shopping?
I had counted my cash.
Had you checked your wallet before shopping?
I hadn't checked due to a hurry.
Had they saved for the party before the date?
They had set aside $200.
Had they saved for the party before the date?
They hadn't saved due to other costs.
Had she paid the phone bill before it was late?
She had cleared it online.
Had she paid the phone bill before it was late?
She hadn't paid due to forgetting.
Had you posted a photo before the event ended?
I had shared a group selfie.
Had you posted a photo before the event ended?
I hadn't posted due to no signal.
Had she liked the video before she commented?
She had tapped the heart icon.
Had she liked the video before she commented?
She hadn't liked it due to no interest.
Had he followed the page before the giveaway?
He had clicked follow first.
Had he followed the page before the giveaway?
He hadn't followed due to no time.
Had they shared the post before the deadline?
They had reposted it quickly.
Had they shared the post before the deadline?
They hadn't shared due to forgetting.
Had you updated your profile before the meeting?
I had added a new photo.
Had you updated your profile before the meeting?
I hadn't updated due to no ideas.
Had she watched the live stream before it ended?
She had seen the whole show.
Had she watched the live stream before it ended?
She hadn't watched due to no Wi-Fi.
Had he messaged his friend before the group chat?
He had sent a private text.
Had he messaged his friend before the group chat?
He hadn't messaged due to being busy.
Had you read the article before you shared it?
I had skimmed the main points.
Had you read the article before you shared it?
I hadn't read it due to no time.
Had they joined the group before the event?
They had signed up early.
Had they joined the group before the event?
They hadn't joined due to no interest.
Had she deleted the app before her phone crashed?
She had removed old apps.
Had she deleted the app before her phone crashed?
She hadn't deleted due to no space.
Had you practiced soccer before the match?
I had kicked the ball for hours.
Had you practiced soccer before the match?
I hadn't practiced due to rain.
Had she trained for the race before the day?
She had run 5 miles daily.
Had she trained for the race before the day?
She hadn't trained due to an injury.
Had he learned the rules before the chess game?
He had studied the moves.
Had he learned the rules before the chess game?
He hadn't learned due to no book.
Had they warmed up before the basketball game?
They had done stretches together.
Had they warmed up before the basketball game?
They hadn't warmed up due to a delay.
Had you bought a racket before the tennis match?
I had gotten a new one.
Had you bought a racket before the tennis match?
I hadn't bought due to no money.
Had she watched the team play before the finals?
She had seen their last game.
Had she watched the team play before the finals?
She hadn't watched due to no TV.
Had he practiced swimming before the competition?
He had swum laps daily.
Had he practiced swimming before the competition?
He hadn't practiced due to a cold.
Had you checked the score before the game ended?
I had looked at the board.
Had you checked the score before the game ended?
I hadn't checked due to distraction.
Had they bought tickets before the match sold out?
They had booked seats online.
Had they bought tickets before the match sold out?
They hadn't bought due to high prices.
Had she joined the team before the season started?
She had signed up early.
Had she joined the team before the season started?
She hadn't joined due to shyness.
Had you practiced the piano before the recital?
I had played my song twice.
Had you practiced the piano before the recital?
I hadn't practiced due to no piano.
Had she written a poem before the contest?
She had crafted a short verse.
Had she written a poem before the contest?
She hadn't written due to no inspiration.
Had he learned the dance before the performance?
He had mastered the steps.
Had he learned the dance before the performance?
He hadn't learned due to no time.
Had they rehearsed the play before the show?
They had practiced all lines.
Had they rehearsed the play before the show?
They hadn't rehearsed due to conflicts.
Had you painted the canvas before the exhibition?
I had finished a landscape.
Had you painted the canvas before the exhibition?
I hadn't painted due to no paint.
Had she sung the song before the audition?
She had practiced it daily.
Had she sung the song before the audition?
She hadn't sung due to a sore throat.
Had he tuned the guitar before the concert?
He had adjusted the strings.
Had he tuned the guitar before the concert?
He hadn't tuned due to no tuner.
Had you watched the tutorial before the art class?
I had learned new techniques.
Had you watched the tutorial before the art class?
I hadn't watched due to no internet.
Had they designed the poster before the event?
They had made a colorful one.
Had they designed the poster before the event?
They hadn't designed due to no software.
Had she taken photos before the art show?
She had captured the displays.
Had she taken photos before the art show?
She hadn't taken any due to no camera.
Had you locked your bike before you entered the store?
I had secured it with a lock.
Had you locked your bike before you entered the store?
I hadn't locked it due to a hurry.
Had she charged her headphones before the flight?
She had plugged them in overnight.
Had she charged her headphones before the flight?
She hadn't charged due to no charger.
Had he fixed the chair before the meeting?
He had tightened the screws.
Had he fixed the chair before the meeting?
He hadn't fixed it due to no tools.